We're waiting on Dave Bartoo to join us. Rusty over there is working hard on the phone line, so we'll grab him when we can. Looking around in college football here, we've got – you got him? You got him. All right, all right. We bring on from College Football Matrix the one, the only Dave Bartoo. And, Dave, I don't know if you've seen this Cam Newton thing that went around talking about Bear Bachmeier, but can a quarterback be successful wearing number 47?
Can a quarterback be? Doesn't matter. Doesn't. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it's just untraditional.
Dude, people who think numbers on a jersey have an effect on the game also turn off the game and walk away thinking their presence is affecting it. Stop it.
Is this like if I turn the game off, my team will score a touchdown? Like I'm the bad luck?
Exactly. Don't be a moron. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Bartoo, we got college football officially getting underway this week. 0 week. What do we have to kind of look forward to? Give us be our sommelier as far as our taster of 0 week and what we should look forward to. Or if there's anything important coming out of this week that we should kind of keep our eyes on.
No, I don't think there's anything important in 0 week or anything like that. It's kind of week over week. But in the first couple of weeks, though, I think one of the things you have to watch for is, and this is a really simple trick, is margin of victory.
Mm-hmm.
It is the single most important metric for the quality of a team, not strength of schedule. You know, you can go to recruiting, which is your number one correlation. But if you have a team that is picked to win a lot of football games and they are struggling early with margin of victory, that's not a good sign. Okay. And I'm not saying it's universal, because as we know, Oregon struggled last year, Idaho, Boise State, tight ball games. But they were kind of an anomaly being able to pull out of that so-called tailspin. They still got the W's, but most teams, that are your national championship contenders, they finished the regular season in the top 3 of offense and defensive scoring efficiency, which is essentially margin of victory. Top 3. Your last 25 national champions are top 3 in offense and or defense margin of victory at the end of the regular season. So that's why I say people say these September games don't count. They absolutely do. But I think the biggest harbinger that they bring is the quality of that team to compete on the upper level, either for a conference title or for a playoff position. These are all really good scoring efficiency teams.
Dave, let's slide over to the B1G, the Big Ten here for a second. And Danny and I kind of talk about this a lot coming in this college football season. And I think there's no conference that better says it than the B1G or maybe the Big 12 as well. And that's parity. Do you see the Big Ten playing out parity-wise with a kind of this 3-way tie at the top that we're not quite sure who will actually poke through? Everybody's got questions, and seemingly Penn State's only question is can they pull it off? But you got quarterback situations at Ohio State and Oregon. Do you see that kind of 3-team landscape, or do you expect one of them to pull ahead?
No, I expect a 3-team landscape, but, oh, man, way to tee up allowing me to be a contrarian on your show. I don't think there is a damn thing about parity in the Big Ten.
Really?
You are talking about teams. Oregon and Ohio State are top 10 recruiters. Okay. Michigan and Penn State are top 20 recruiters. Okay. Iowa is barely a top 30 recruiter. You have recruiters in the 40s and 50s and 60s. There is talent all over the board. Now, the parity is good coaching quality. Okay. But from a talent standpoint, I don't think there's a lot of parity in the Big Ten. I'll give you the Big 12. They don't have one damn top 25 recruiter. Not one, right? They're all between 25 and 50. That is a coach's league, 100%. I think we see a lot of volatility there. But from the Big Ten standpoint, tell me why we would ever talk about in the next 5 to 10 years. Why would do you ever foresee really seriously talking about anybody but Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, maybe Michigan, maybe USC? Maybe Washington once in a while. I mean, your top 4 or 5 recruiters are going to win the vast majority of the football games. So I think when you talk like Illinois or Iowa contending this year, it's a cute little story. It's kind of fun. right? Woo, we get to involve them in the conversation. But the Big Ten is extraordinarily top-heavy, and we are always going to be talking about Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State as the championship contenders from now until they realign.
When you look at it's not only just the parody landscape, but we are finally out of the COVID era, the long-term holdovers. Is there anything that you're looking at that changed or programs have kind of adapted to, whether it be transfer portal, development, retention, anything along those lines that kind of became stronger indicators now that you don't have guys that are 5 and 6 and 7 year guys that kind of work as kind of flagpoles to be a little bit divergent off of?
Right. We don't have the Bo Nix. We don't have the Dylan Gabriel with 6,000 snaps. We got the Dante Moores now. And look across the college landscape. I mean, is there a good quarterback out there? I mean, a really good one that you go, wow, this guy's awesome. And there really isn't. I think quarterback play, at least for this year, is down. My number one is still Levitt at Arizona State because, like Justin Herbert, he's making Marcus Arroyo look brilliant. And only an NFL quarterback seemingly could do that. But I do believe what you're saying, coaching and player continuity, I think is very important. Being able to keep – and look what Oregon has done with their player continuity. They don't go into the portal much, right? They've been a very, very consistent team. In fact, last year, your semifinal teams, okay, your Texas, your Ohio State, Penn State, you take those 4 semifinal teams, the year before, so the start of the season, those 4 teams had 30 transfers total come in. 30, 7.5 per team. So I think there's something to be said for a team's ability to mine high school talent, identify it. I think that's probably the most difficult thing right now for a program is identifying the long-term guys that you want to try to sign and keep long-term. I think that's the biggest trick in the game right now. But I'm seeing a lot of success in especially your upper programs that have player continuity. I think that's a really big part of it. I think the downside to it, though, is I don't think the level of football is ever going to be what it once was. This year's national title team, I think would get smoked by anybody the last 25 years. Because there's not the player continuity, there's not the balance, there's not the commitment. The players, even Kirby Smart, SEC Media Days, these guys don't work as hard. They don't focus as hard. I think college football as a whole, as much as fans love seeing the players getting paid for what they do, I think the quality and overall commitment of the entire college football network is down.
Note that you said kind of as we were going into the break about why college teams going forward would get the floor mopped. To use by previous teams, to use last year as an example, that's probably why we see Ohio State, who lost to Oregon, lost to Michigan, absolutely completely stomp the doors off Oregon on their way to looking pretty good all the way to a natty. That it's not going to be necessarily the top team every year.
No. Well, something, here's the thing though. Remember how I said the national champion is top 3 in offense and or top 3 in defensive scoring efficiency?
Yes.
Ohio State was number 1 in defensive scoring efficiency going into the playoffs. Do you know who was number 2? Notre Dame. Number 3, Texas. Right? I mean, the only anomaly in that semifinal, I was sitting there going, I wonder if this trend is ever going to be broken, because they have to be, right? So somebody's got to come out of nowhere. But
law of averages,
right, 132 teams. At the end of the regular season, you're telling me there's only 3 competitors, offense and defense, at the end of the regular season. Yeah, and it's been like that for 25 years. I thought this year was going to be the one when it was broken. And it would have been if we still had the BCS or we still had 4 teams because Ohio State wouldn't have got in.
Right.
But, we ended up with the top 3 scoring efficiency defenses in the semifinal. So I think what the expanded playoff does is it allows, like we said, it allows for more mistakes by the really good teams. And Ohio State was obviously a clear beneficiary of that.
When we look at this season, when we just kind of look at seasons going forward in general, looking at Vegas and the win totals across the board, there really doesn't seem to be, like you said, that there's that I don't want to use the word parity, but the odds are flattened as it appears for what you're looking at win totals across. In the Big Ten, I believe the highest line is 10.5. It's the same for the SEC. When you're looking at win totals right now of those teams that are kind of projected to be in that top 10, top 15 area, which of those teams are face the most volatility kind of going into this season, where they could easily surpass those lines and run away, and the teams that have a real chance of underperforming?
Well, I don't know about you, but lines like 10.5 for Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, I'm not messing with those.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of room there. I will agree with you, though, on somewhat of a flattening, especially in the SEC, because you got a bunch of teams at 9.5 wins for their total. Now, one of these reasons could be the overvaluing of the SEC as a whole. If you simply blind bet all 14 SEC teams 3 years ago, all 16 2 years ago, all 16 last year, right, or whatever it was, if you blindly bet the under total, you were up money every single year.
They all got to play each other.
Right, but Vegas is overvaluing the quality of the upper teams, I believe. Either that or they're taking advantage of the SEC fans just betting the over every time, and they will do that. They'll bake in fake numbers because they know the public as a whole is going to take advantage of a hyped-up team like a Georgia or a Texas or an Alabama. But, yeah, we are seeing a flattening of it, a compression of it, and I think largely that has to do with we just don't have any runaway great teams anymore. I believe the system as a whole has been flattened. And the talent gaps have been shrunk, not only because of the transfer portal, but like I said before, I believe the motion and the work ethic is different now that the kids are getting paid some to a very large sum of money to play football. And I think psychologically that's affected outcomes as well.
You mentioned Sam Leavitt earlier at Arizona State. I like him as one of my favorite quarterbacks in college this year, along with John Mateer. That might be my Wazoo bias showing on John Mateer, who, when you look at Heisman situations, or maybe even two-part this with NFL comparisons, can Jeremiah Smith win this award for a Heisman, or is it still an NFL, or is it still a quarterback situation? And which one of these guys best translates to the NFL, do you think?
You know something? I don't know if Smith can win it. I mean, it's possible because there's just not a lot of flashy names out there as big as his. Rule number one, though, when you're betting the Heisman, if you don't see that team being a top 25 team, don't bet them.
Yeah.
Every Heisman is on a team that ends up in the top 25. Now, to me, your best Heisman is a guy that carries it to the top 25, like Lamar Jackson, right? Like a Sam Leavitt, who takes a team that recruits in the 40s and 50s and carries them to the top 25. That's, to me, the best kind of player. But with Jeremiah Smith, I think it's plausible simply because there's not too many big household names out there at quarterback, and most of them aren't very good. You look at your big brands, new quarterback at Ohio State, new quarterback at Georgia, new quarterback at Alabama, Texas has a new quarterback, and everybody knows his name, but I wouldn't be getting over my skis on that kid. So if you're going to bet the Heisman, make sure first and foremost it's going to be a team that you feel finishes in the top 25. But I'd still lean quarterbacks. It just feels like it has for far too long been a quarterback award.
I'm going to kind of put you on a spot here with some recent news. Auburn is now claiming the 2004 national title.
Uh-oh.
Do you, off the top of your head, know where Auburn versus USC fall in that 04 season as far as valuation ratings, things of that nature?
Dude, those USC teams, something, here's another hot, spicy take. I think Pete Carroll massively underperformed the talent at USC when he was there. I think he massively they only got one national title. That team had a core of starting NFL linebackers for like 17 years in a row. Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous. And the numbers they put up offense and defensively, I think Pete Carroll is actually closer to Steve Sarkisian. He was a guy who always let you down. He had all the talent in the world and never got the talent up to what it should have been. So, but comparing USC from 2000 to 2010 to, give me any Auburn team of this century No, thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you,
Right?
Dave.
I mean, it's USC had amazing scoring efficiency on offense. They had amazing scoring efficiency on defense. And I firmly believe the only guy that actually held them back was the head coach. He never won above talent, and he always made weird decisions that cost them ball games. He cost them ball games at USC, and if there's any Seahawks fans listening, he might have cost them a Super Bowl title with weird decisions.
Any crazy teams that could sneak into the playoff in your mind?
Crazy teams. Okay. I don't know if they're crazy in so much as I think there's a lot of opportunity. And so what I look at is I'm looking for teams with easy schedules relative to their talent. Okay. Mm-hmm. And one of them is Texas Tech out of the Big 12. Like I said, I think the Big 12 is always going to be volatile. But when you look at that Texas, if you're a Duck fan, go look at that Texas Tech schedule. You're just like, dude, that's 12-0. We're done. Thanks for playing. Right? I mean, you don't play one single top 25 recruiter on the entire schedule. Texas Tech has the second largest gap of recruited and transfer portal talent to the schedule. So this is a team that factors, in my opinion, has a very, very high ceiling. They've upgraded their offensive coordinator. They have a very, very good defensive coordinator. Jury's still out on how good the head coach is. One guy that we talk about a lot, Bill Belichick, North Carolina. You want to talk about a really easy schedule. It's funny. Indiana wins, and everybody complains about their schedule. Dude, if North Carolina wins, people are going to lose their mind because it is literally the easiest schedule relative to talent in the entire country. Anything less than 10 wins is an absolute underperform. Bill Belichick, if he's that good, he could put this team in the playoffs. But I will go the opposite way. If he finishes 8-4 or worse and absolutely blows the schedule like Mac Brown did last year, Bill Belichick won't even make it to year 4. I think that's your biggest hot, cold team of the entire country this year is that North Carolina Tar Heel team.
Oh, it's a bummer nobody would be paying attention to that guy and that guy coaching there, right? We were texting back and forth, and you were talking about things that you're looking forward to in the college football season, and one of the things that you factored in there was opponent behavior. What are you looking for when you're looking at those kind of metrics?
Well, so I mean, we got week 1 coming up, right? And here's one of the things I have been working with training an AI agent to project play-by-play behavior. So one of the things that I did, so for example, is I asked it this morning to give me a play-by-play breakdown in the first quarter.
Oh, did we lose him?
And so it gave me, run pass percentages. And then I said, okay, now break it up by down and distance. Now break it up by home and road. Now break it up by field position, right? Inside the red zone, outside the red zone, midfield, et cetera. And then break it down by score. And so, because what we're looking for is we're trying to find the ability to change a single drive, right? Because most college football games are double digits. They're not competitive, but we're just trying to change that drive. So one of the most interesting things that I found out about this one is this particular team in 2024 as an underdog on the road, okay, when they got in the red zone, they ran the ball 73% of the time. They got super, super, super conservative on all downs and distances in the red zone. So if that is replicated, this is an opportunity for a defensive coordinator to show pass defense, but play the run. And so it's little things like that we're trying to dissect. And then I can update this with play-by-play data going forward. So if I was, let's say, feeding this to Oregon, I can give you tendencies by quarter and situational football instantly as soon as Sunday rolls around for the next game.
That's Dave Bartoo, College Football Matrix. Thank you for joining us, my friend. We'll circle back and bring you on a little bit later. That sound fun?
Yo, dude, I'm right here in your backyard in Forest Grove. I'm at the high school right now with my wife getting her classroom set up. So you guys call me anytime. I'm ready to roll.
You got it, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Bartoo.
Later.
That is Dave Bartoo, College Football Matrix, big friend of the entire station here.
Yeah.
A guy everybody loves around here. Funny dude.
He's into so much, man. It's so cool. That last little bit, boy, my eyes lit up, and I was like, "Oh, now we're getting into like true projection type stuff." That's the kind of stuff that I nerd out on immediately.
Yeah, so there'll be plenty to look forward to with college football.